June 9 weekend, lots of official visitors coming in. So we did have a commit already. I'm going to get to him next, but there were three. Again, I'm calling them all 5 stars because I think they should all be considered 5-star caliber. We had Justin Scott, Bryce West, and Ryan Wingo in Ann Arbor this weekend. You and I kind of handicapped those on the last show. Like, hey, it's cool that they're coming in. Let's see if they can make some progress. We both agreed the guy Michigan could make some progress with would be Bryce West. But I think it's fair to say you and I are both, I don't want to say shocked, but the amount of progress that has potentially been made there, pretty interesting for the number 1 prospect out of Ohio, Mr. West.
Yeah. We kind of figured that they would make some progress with him. Jacob Oden was on campus, and that kid is just a monster with recruiting right now. One of the kind of the silent leaders of the class, really, excuse me. Kind of one of the silent leaders of recruiting in the class. Obviously he's very vocal about, recruiting guys to Michigan and stuff, but he does a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of, recruiting guys and, making sure that he's on campus for big visits. And this was the case with Bryce West. Jacob Oden was all over him. Boo Carter too. All those three were together during the visit. But Michigan made some ground up for sure. We were talking whether it was last week or the week before that Bryce West is likely headed to Ohio State, but I think Michigan has done a really good job of evening up the playing field a little bit and making things a lot more interesting for him. We've talked to someone inside the program who believes they're, neck and neck with Ohio State. They've made up a ton of ground for him. So, and even talking to the commits as well, they've been very open about Aaron Scott and Bryce West considering Michigan. I was speaking to a recruit not too long ago that he said it was kind of a 75-25 split that Bryce West was favoring Ohio State, but now it's looking a lot more like it's trending towards 50-50. He very well could still end up at Ohio State. I mean, he's got a visit coming up here in the next few weeks, I believe, to Ohio State.
Yeah, he'll be there on the 23rd.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity there for Ohio State to kind of stretch out the ground a little bit that was lost. But really in regards to West, you've got a couple of things going for you. You've got obviously West liking the program, but Mom also loves the program too. So that's,
how many times have we said it? Michigan wins the moms, man.
Yeah, no, they've and that's kind of the message throughout this whole weekend was kind of they've done a really good job with connecting with parents. But you've got Mom in your corner. I think you've got some good stuff going. So cautious optimism with Bryce West, I think I would call it. I wouldn't say Michigan is lined up to get him right now. I would still predict him to Ohio State. However, Michigan's made things interesting, very interesting. So a long way to go still. So anything can happen, but as long as you can make up ground when you can, that's all you can do. And the commits are doing a good job of trying to convince Bryce West to change his mind or at least come to Michigan. So you just got to let them do their work.
Yeah, look, this is we've said this a couple times. The fact that Michigan's even in this recruitment, right? Bryce West is the number 1 player in Ohio. He's a cornerback. He goes to Glenville in Cleveland, Ohio. People don't go in there thinking they have any chance of getting that player away from Ohio State, right? So the fact you're even in this, that's Michigan's success on the field. That's them beating Ohio State, and that's Steve Clinkscale. You just can't say enough about the job he's been doing with the staff on the field and with the team on the field and off in recruiting. I'm starting to see Michigan's strategy here. We'll get into this more obviously when we get into next week's visitors, but the other big cornerback in Ohio, Aaron Scott, coming next week, going to have kind of a full court press with a lot of the commits that are going to be around. And then both of those gentlemen are at Ohio State together on the 23rd. So that's Ohio State's move, to have those two together, have the last visit and go after them. But you wonder, can Michigan do enough, put enough in their heads that maybe when they're on that visit to Ohio State, they kind of talk about something else, right? So again, would I think either one is coming here? Or are we going to predict that? No. But the fact it's like we're talking about it as a potential scenario, a coin flip, whatever, just Michigan, man, this rivalry completely flipping on its heels. I think that would be, how can you imagine? You've already got the number 3 in Marshall, but if you could pull something where you're getting West and or Scott, the top players in Ohio, man. The other big 5-star, I'm just going to say Ryan Wingo is here, obviously, wide receiver, been to Georgia previously, going to Texas, checking out his hometown, Missouri. Official visits always go well, but I don't think that we're moving any confidence in that direction there with the receiver. But Justin Scott, who once felt like a Notre Dame lock and then kind of felt like everything was trending to Miami, his recruitment's kind of up in the air right now at a very convenient time with him just on campus in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, no, another guy that Michigan has made up ground with. And again, the mom, they recruited the family very well, and the mom really likes Michigan. And kind of what I've learned through this process is the mom is not necessarily wanting Justin to go to Miami. So I feel like Miami is less of a threat than what they were. That's still not going to avoid them from offering up the bag. You know what I mean? But, motivations are different.
I had to stop myself there. I almost posted a comment there about Michigan recruiting moms. I'm like, that's like good. And then I saw the rest of it. I had to,
I saw that comment and I giggled.
He's been getting a lot of talk this weekend. It's funny. Anyway, go on. I apologize.
So I, talk to my people that I talk to every weekend. That sounds so stupid. I talk to my people, but there's a regular rotation of people that I ask around about stuff. And
I always have to go through people to get to Josh because I'm just in line with everyone else.
Yeah. I have 3 phones, and each phone has to get to the other phone to get to the main phone.
One of them's made by Fisher Price.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, the people that I speak with, and it's kind of a mixture of commits and other people. They've said that they've made up ground with Justin Scott, and again, this is kind of another cautiously optimistic situation. We're not going to sit here and say, Justin Scott is headed to Michigan 100%. It's done deal. It's not. And don't clip me and say that. But it's
10 minutes, 5 seconds.
Yeah, right. So again, it's another one of those things where they did really well to gain up some ground, showed off the family side of things, and impressed mom. And again, having a mom in a corner is your corner is a big deal. So again, positivity. That's all you can really ask for coming out of these visits. Making up ground. It's still way too early for me to even think about, where he would be headed, because you've got Georgia involved, Notre Dame, maybe, but it's still way too early. But the one thing that we can pretty much, say is that Michigan is going to be right in the thick of this thing for sure.
It's a lot different than a couple weeks ago.
No, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. And a lot of that, again, has to do with Mike Elston and the job he's done this cycle with defensive line recruits. It's been impressive. He's got now a track record of developing guys. He's got something that he can show. I mean, he did it at Notre Dame, but obviously you got to do it at each stop. And now he has something tangible to show from his time at Michigan, and it's resonating, and it's resonating with Aaron Scott. It resonated with Owen Wayfull today, and countless other commits and to be potential commits. So again, all you can ask for is positivity. Move positively, just forward momentum, and that's what they've got right now. So we'll see where it kind of shakes out here, but all you can really ask for is some good news, and I think you definitely the best case scenario out of this weekend. Obviously, the dream scenario would have been a commitment and all that stuff, but that's out of the realm of possibility.
He's heading to Miami next week. That visit feels a lot different than it did
Yep.
a few weeks ago. And then he will be with Bryce West and Aaron Scott in Columbus on June 23rd. So again, I think a few weeks ago, I looked at that June 23rd visit schedule for Ohio State and I thought, oh man, I see what they're doing. And I kind of feel like Michigan might have, kind of Trojan horse this, where all of these guys are going to be in Columbus at the same time, but Michigan's going to be on their mind. And again, who knows if they're going to pull any of these guys, but they're in the game. And I think that's impressive. On Elston, you're 100% right. But look, this is what Harbaugh's been doing. He's been hiring guys that are not only great recruiters, but in the case of Elston and Hart, have a connection in Michigan. And it's like they found another gear by coming back home. Elston was a great recruiter at Notre Dame. And now that he's in Ann Arbor, he knows he's never leaving and he loves this program. There's this extra level to him. And you're right. Results on the field. We talked about that before too. It's a lot easier to say, like, this is what I've done. I'm going to do that for you. Not like you're the guy that's going to change things, or here's how we want to do things moving forward, how you can be a part of it. We just want to keep the train rolling. That's what it is, right?